Gabby has university class. Some of the students are going to the University of West Indies, and she can't be on because she has class, but she wants to know what software you use.
Hi.
Now that's a long answer, right? But
like video or safety software or technology.
I mean, that answer. I mean, when it starts getting into technology, that's a never-ending
Okay, well,
conversation,
here,
right?
I'll make it simple. I have 3 mics that I use all the time. I use a USB condenser microphone called the Samson CO1U Pro, and it plugs into my iPad and my iPhone, and I've been using this for years. And the software I use on from the App Store, which is fantastic, is Voice Record Pro 7. Voice Record Pro 7 is top notch. It's broadcast quality. You have heard commercials, cartoons, things of mine that are on the air that when I was shooting like a Disney movie, and I'm in Northern Canada shooting this thing, and I'm miles from a studio, I can plug in my iPad and I use Voice Record Pro, and like 3 days later it's on the radio or it's on TV. Voice Record Pro 7 is probably one of the most handiest, easiest to use recording systems and apps and it's for free. It's free, and I've been using it for years. Yep. So check out that one, and there's some tricks in there. You can make it sound like a Neumann. You can make it sound like the audition, the stuff that we audition with or that we record on for your self tapes. It's great. And if you have an Apple product, you can take your recording from Voice Record Pro, go to not trim and effects. I forget what it is, but anyways, you can go you drop it right into iMovie, and then it puts out your recording. You can just drop in pictures and videos and make documentaries like that. So that's what I use there. And as far as what we use, the software we use is Reaper, and that's a free one too. Reaper is the best. It has everything that you need and then some.
Straightforward.
But for those of you that are into music and production and stuff like that, PreSonus makes a really good one, entry-level one, and it has everything there. Also free, and you can add on and stuff like that. But see what you can do. I mean, actually, you know what's really interesting? Go to the App Store and just start plugging, like just looking at all the apps. Try the free ones. Check it out. I'm constantly up there because they are making new things for podcasting, for recording, for music, for making decks. Like it's incredible what they have. And sometimes I take these kids' cartoon making apps, and then I'll braid it with like a guitarist will have all their guitar pedals up. I do that with apps, and I'm creating cartoons and stuff on a high level with video and audio using these little like Snapchatty things or blah, blah, blah. But then using these, I'm making my own music. I'm making my own backgrounds. I'm making my own sound effects. You know, the BBC released their whole audio files, like they just gave it. There's like sound effects from the BBC for like 100 years of sound. So there's stuff all over, but Voice Record Pro 7, Reaper, and PreSonus. And anything else you want to screw around with on from the App Store. Really, it's that easy. Creativity, because here's the thing, guys. People are making content on these devices so people can watch and listen to them on these devices. So it's all there. There's a little gutter pearl for you all.
Amazing. So what we're going to do now that we've kicked off everything for the early birds, right? The early birds got the technology breakdown of a lifetime, really. That's what, 20, 25 years of testing out technology, all in 3 recommendations.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you missed out, you missed out. What I'm going to do is Shanika was going to kick everything off for us. I am standing in front of 2 screens with about, I don't know how many people are here.
No,
Shanika,
you're lying. You're not standing. You're sitting.
Sitting.
You can see you. Don't lie to us, man.
How do you? I'm just really short. Shanika, I'm looking for you. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead, Shanika.
Right. So good evening again, everyone. And I want to say welcome to our weekly session, AYF session. I want to say thank you for everyone who jumped on early tonight. And for those of you who do not know me, my name is Shanika Gozang. I'm one of the mentors. And it is my pleasure to be your host tonight, one of your co-hosts tonight. And we're just here to have nice, productive fun. And it's a pleasure to have our guest from Canada on with us tonight, of course. And Michael Jagdio, you've been really entertaining for the early part of the session. So what I want to do is just to turn back over to you to introduce our very special guest, Mr. Christian Potenza, tonight. And then we can just jump on. Everyone just stay engaged, ask your questions, whatever questions you may have, just ask your questions. We have someone very special on the line tonight. So we're looking forward to hearing what he has to say. All right.
I could talk a lot too.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be great. It's
You
gonna
better
be great.
record this.
Oh,
because
it's all recording
I don't even know what
directly to
happened.
disk. Not even to the cloud. You can't depend on the cloud for stuff like this. If we haven't spoken before, my name is Michael Jagdero. Really great to talk to you. I am in Hamilton, Ontario, about an hour away with Christian and Steph. They're about, 5 minutes away from me, which is crazy. We're about an hour outside of Toronto. The reason that people like myself and Christian or Steph are outside of Toronto, it's because we don't have to be in Toronto anymore.
That's what's up.
So you can build some very large level studios, 18-foot ceiling type studios that you guys can see if you look at that link for the Infinity Forge. You can see what the studio looks like. If you were in Toronto, we'd be doing that meeting there. So just to kind of back up, when I initially met Adopt a Youth Foundation through Janet Lumley, and then I met Jillian, and then I met the leadership. And then I met the mentees and the students. The common theme was that all of you were looking for a career. You know, you were in school or thinking about what to do in school, and some of you were sculptors. Imagine that. I would have never imagined. Some of you were sculptors, some of you were singing gospel, some of you were singing dance hall. And we've actually started, so we actually started working with you guys promoting the music. Nyron's doing cartoons which are like doing well online. And so over the past 2 months, I've seen just what's possible just by working with you guys. And, you know, if you're looking to get to North America, let's get you Canadian and US experience. Now, I've had a lot of artists in this group ask me what's next for them, because even if you sold out a show, it's illegal to have a concert. So what do you do? Right? I didn't know what to tell people. I had no good answer. And I remember sitting with Dave and being like, Dave is like, you just don't waste your time trying to help people with their music. That's it. I'll get dead end and you'll spend all your time and that'll go nowhere. And I'm like, so Dave, what's the answer? What happens if we have talented people that used to put on concerts, used to do comedy shows and sell out? And what happens now? Now, it doesn't mean that demand has gone away. How we satisfy that demand has changed. And lo and behold, you've been satisfying that demand for almost your whole life. And Steph, you're the same way as a mezzo soprano. When's the next time you're going to do a concert?
In person, there is not one in the future in sight right now.
So in a world like that, what do we do?
Yeah.
In a world like that, I put myself on mute and I let you guys kind of just say what's in your heart. And I would say to the mentees and everyone on this team, your questions in the chat will drive this engagement, right? So if you guys have the chat open, I'm going to mute myself and it's all recording.
Okay. How will we get these commercials? I mean,
Questions.
these questions, because we're not at our computer. We're like,
Oh, okay. No worries. I can
You-
say them to you.
yeah,
Um,
if you can actually ask them,
yes,
you know what I
sure.
mean? Because
That'd be awesome.
if I was to
Not a
show you
problem.
where we are, we're in like 3,500 square feet, 20-foot ceilings, but all you can see is this awesome backdrop. But yeah, if you could do that, Mike, that's great.
Awesome.
Um,
So, question number one.
Yes, sir.
Where do you, and this comes from Tony Ann Tapper, where do you start when trying to dip your feet in the voice acting industry?
Mm.
Tori Ann Tapper, thank you for your question.
Well, Tori, I wouldn't look at it as dipping your feet. What I would do is, because dipping your feet means you found your pond.
Hmm.
If you are going to join the voice community, when that's what it is, because it is a community, a well-established community with its own rules, regulations, glossary of terms, pay schedule, hierarchy. It's run like the military. It's a comms unit. And you got scientists on one side and a bunch of actors on the other side. And it used to be the divide between the glass, right? We were in the booth
Mhm.
and they were in the room, the control room on the either side. And now, vodka, chocolates and peanut butter, and it's all together, and that comes on you. So if you want to get involved in the voice community and you want to dip your toes into it, find out which watering hole or pond you belong to. And because there's an ocean of life of different actors. I'm a voice actor. I didn't know I'd be a voice actor. I was doing a lot of movies and television. And for those of you who have ever been to Canada in the last like 15, 20 years, I was on every commercial. I was on every, Canadian TV show, a lot of American shows as well. I lived in LA, in Hollywood for a bit, and every place is different. So we can also start there. Where are you located? Right? So you start locally. What I would do if I was you is you can take lessons online and through Zoom and meet a bunch of voice actors. On Facebook alone, there are so many voice acting pages.
Yep,
where they're
groups.
constantly giving out, looking for auditions and stuff like that. There's voice banks. There's everything going on. Find out what's local first,
Hmm.
and then get a demo together. And we'll talk about that later when we talk about demos. But get a demo together or a sizzle reel, right? Remember, though, there are 4 different types of voice demos you need. Narration, which is long format, your voice. Infotainment, edutainment. Audio books are long format. Documentaries, e-learning. Pharmaceutical companies can't advertise, but they have the budget of Game of Thrones for their little videos that they make for doctors, pharmacists, and new patients in a whole bunch of different languages using animation. And so that's a great one. For the ladies out there, mom industries rule everything.
Yep.
You can't even buy a pair of mittens for your kid. Not that you guys buy mittens where you're from, but we need them here. And but you can't even buy a pair of mittens for your child right now without being directed to some Facebook, Insta, Etsy, Pinterest website, where you are first of all greeted by this Uber mom who is congratulating you on your purchase of ethically fair traded alpaca wool. And then the next 8 minutes are on how to use the goddamn mittens properly. And that just goes on. And so there's so much work in this long format, right? But it's just your voice. Nothing that is with a character. It's just your voice. So once you have that and you figured out that, then what you do is then you do commercial demo, which is short format, your voice, just a shorter format. It's a format because radio or broadcast has a format. The cold open, the hook, the explanation or the solution, and then the button. It goes like this because nobody ever says, hey, everyone, the radio commercials are on. Let's listen. They only listen to them when they're alone, right? And that's why it's on a format, because it's programmed just for that person, for that demographic. They will use your voice because it represents a demographic, put it in front of another demographic to make them think it's their idea. And the program goes like this. The cold open, the hook, the solution, and the button. So it's like this. Have you ever wanted to blah, blah, blah? Cold open. Well, now you can at blah, blah, blah. Hook. Because you see, at blah, 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 we've known that the essence of blah, blah, blahing ever since our founder, blah, 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 at blah, blah, blah. That's why we know that we're the best at blah, blah, blah. There's a nice solution. And then the button, blah, blah, blah. Thinking about your blah. Boom. And somebody is because we were programmed to just think and do this way. So commercials are short form, but it's just your voice representing the demographic that you are. If you're a character actor like me, then you can do character commercial and you can do character narration, or you can do what real voice actors do is get the narrate that are just starting, get the narration done, which is the hardest one because people don't understand what their voices are like. There's three things happening every time you step up to, in front of, behind a microphone, however you view it, or wherever the job is. And it goes like this. There's what you think you sound like to you, which is a masturbatory dance of pageantry fueled by ego. Then there's what you think you sound like to others, which is all those things plus manipulation and performance for a desired outcome fueled by fears and insecurities. Then there is the truth. And nobody likes the truth. But with some training, you can get that done, and you get your narration done, and you get your commercial done with just your voice. And that takes some time because you're calibrating your inner ear. When that's done, then you submit that out. You go to your local radio stations, you put it online, you register on a voice bank, you give it to your agent. And then what happens is this. Then you start getting auditions because you don't know what they're hearing and when. You can get somebody from Japan that wants you for their video game. You want somebody from Italy. You want somebody from Canada. You want somebody from wherever you are. And you don't know why or what they hear, but you're just happy to get a job because that's the first hurdle. And then your sound is going to change because as these things come in from different sounds, you're like, whoa, why am I the voice of Tic Tacs? I don't understand why. What do I have? And it doesn't matter. You organic sack of meat that runs off electricity and dreams. Just show up, say your words, take direction, don't be a dick, and leave. Right? That's the totem pole of success. So, but once you start auditioning, well, now your sound is changing and it's moving around. It's like swirling and it's changing and it's shaping the sound. And you take out the weak one from your demo and you put this one in, and then you see how you start tuning your ear. Now, once you have that done and you start working for a bit, now you've established a sense of style and a work ethic that is of your own design. Okay. It's not like it was back then when you had to be a voice actor. You did it this way, cookie cutter demos, puppy mill voice agencies. It doesn't work like that. So now what you do is, now that you have the sense of style and the work ethic, now you can do animation. But this is people's problem, because who doesn't want to be on cartoons? Who doesn't want to be a voice that is part of people's memories and blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, people come up to me and go, I want to get an animation reel because I want to do cartoons. I was like, yeah, so do you and the 8,000 people in front of just your line. So what's up? And then they go, I want to make an animation reel. And I go, no. It doesn't work like that. Because first of all, if you're going to do an animation reel, unless you have animation to back it up, it's just a character reel. So why not make a character reel? And then, because you understand the voice, you understand yours, well, then you can start working on creating a library of voices. right?
Mm.
Once you have that down, now you've got narration, commercial, and now you've got your character one out there. The one after that is video games and apps. Those are your 4 basic your groups for your demo.
And for those singers out there,
Bingo.
very, very important. If you are wanting to get into voice acting and you do sing, you should have a song demo as well, for sure.
Have to.
Have to.
Because if you're doing any type of voice work, at some point, somebody's going to ask you to sing.
Absolutely.
Does it have to sound good? No. What if I'm playing the ugly toad? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Does it sound good? No. Does it sound wicked for the toad? Yes. Right? So it doesn't matter. And they pay musicians to play the song, to keep it in line, because you're going in alone. You're not there with the other actors to sing, even if you might. So if you guys have ever seen Total Drama, you know that we have a new spin-off, a new world called Total Drama Rama, where I play Jude as a 4-year-old. And in one of the episodes, we had to sing 99 bottles of milk on the wall, 99 bottles of milk. If one of them should happen to fall, there'll be 98 bottles of milk on the wall. So we had to do that, but they paid musicians good money to make a 4-minute track of that. And I had to listen to that because every actor had to, because not everybody reads music. Not anyone can sing, but it doesn't matter because we're characters. So we listen to that, and that's what we do. So you're taken care of. But to go to Stephanie's point, getting that on there, whoo!
Especially if singing is your strength.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You need to show them you can sing.
And even if you want to do it as a character.
Yes.
Right?
You don't have to sound like an opera singer. They're
No.
not asking that.
No, they just want to hear how you sound, because voice acting, you are like a singer. It's sheet music. It's just symbols that create words. And we're just, we know how to read them like sheet music. So if you want to get started, like, where do I find out all this information? Go to edgestudios.com. And they're all there. There's commercial and narration headings, and all the scripts are there. They give it to you.
Wow.
So that's what I would do. Start looking at your demo, start looking locally on what you can do. Find a little voice group, find a voice buddy, find someone you can read with, start a little podcast.
Look on Facebook too, everyone. There are a lot of voice acting groups on Facebook, and I see many, I'm in a couple, and I see many messages from people like yourselves that go, I would love to start out in voice acting. Do you have any suggestions of what I could do to get into voice acting? And you will find a really beautiful community of people that will give you suggestions and answer your questions. So a really big thing about what we do here as voice actors is we have this cool sense of community, and we support each other and we work together to make sure because first and foremost, your voice is like a fingerprint. Nobody sounds like you but you. Right? So we all need to put our voices out into the world. So it's not really a competition in that way, right? Because you're complete, there's no one else like you.
Yeah.
So so those groups are really helpful.
There's only one you, and they're always looking for new faces and new voices. It doesn't matter when you show up, but if you show up and come correct, knowing the technology, knowing the format, and knowing how to skin that with your talent for that job in particular, then you'll get the job. Because here's how it is. If you're a voice actor, you're on demand. You're on demand. And your job and only job is to audition. That's it. And if you're good at your job, you get this much of an opportunity to showcase this much of your talent on a huge tapestry. And then once you get going, you get even more opportunity to showcase even more of your talent on a smaller field, because you are known as a certain type. Okay. So just, you can't hit unless you swing.
Sorry. Steph,
Yes.
can you tell them about your background?
Absolutely.
And because when I come into the studio, I often see you behind the 1s and 2s, right? Doing like the loop reel and stuff like that. But then I go to the website and I see you doing mezzo soprano work. So
Sure.
like, how do you guys work together when you're helping people do their Walmart commercials, their Tim Hortons commercials, their auditions for Pixar Comedy Network? How do you guys kind of marry like your strengths together to get the most out of people?
Sure, that's a great question, Michael. Thank you. So for those who do not know me, my name is Stephanie Yelovich, and my main career is that I'm an opera singer. So I'm a mezzo soprano. I'm the lower of the female voice types in the opera world. Um, my training is mostly in theater and of course opera. I am a voice actor as well, and I've been training for a couple years now. And one specific thing that I bring forward and I offer is I work with breath. So I teach our voice acting clients and especially my singers that come to work with me how to breathe for performance. So we know that if we're not breathing, we're not living, literally. So I find that when people often will step into the booth, they overlook the base to what makes, the car go. Our fuel to make sound or to make voice happen is we have to have enough breath or these little vocal cords aren't going to vibrate. So I work specifically with our clients to help them find ease in their breathing, but also to help them get a little bit more energy going in their body so that they can support what they're speaking and then so they can have more range for the characters that they're creating. And then like Michael said, I found and discovered a little bit of love for this technology from on the other side of the microphone, from the audio engineering side. And I do most of Christian calls me buttons sometimes. So I do
Stop it.
No,
Buttons.
That's a term that because as voice actors, we're always in different studios and there's always one guy and they're very rarely do you see females.
Sometimes, but not as often.
Yeah. I'm just thinking Dave Whalen in my head.
Yeah, exactly.
Dave Whalen.
But it's usually some guy that's been there. It's usually some guy named Dave. It's always a Dave, Mike, and you forget their name, but you're just like, hey man, they know you because they know you don't know them. But we as a term, I was like, what's up, buttons? And they kind of like it. Everyone likes to be like, and they're like, what's up, actor guy, or whatever. And so it's a term of endearment because that's really what it comes down to. Is like, what's up, buttons? So I could. Because we have to, sometimes I'm like, will you do buttons for me?
Totally.
I'll do buttons for you. And that's what it is. We call up all of our friends and I was like, I need buttons.
Yep.
I need a button. And they're like, got it. And they call up a guy. So it's a term, it's a nickname, but it's also a rank.
Yes.
They're scientists. They're scientists. They train.
Yeah.
And you have to make friends with these guys. And if you are in a position to call them buttons, then, you're eye to eye.
That's a good call. Yeah, so that is basically most of what I do. And then you talked about the looper, and I have to bring up the looper because it's so cool. I'm also a Reiki practitioner. So I don't know if you know what that is. I do energy work and I do energy healing. But when I do that work, I bring in sound and I bring in my voice to do so. And a way that I can take my one single voice and amplify it and make it become a choir is to use this very cool tool that we have, and it's a looper. So I have this wonderful thing. Mine is a Roland RC505, and it is a vocal looper. It has 5 tracks, and that allows me to layer my voice on top of myself, I suppose. And I can create a choir with just my voice. So I've started to implement that into my healing treatments, but I also implement that into my teaching of my students, because when you hear yourself back and you hear yourself as a symphony and a choir, and it's just your voice, it really changes a lot about how you work moving forward, what you discover about your sound. And it's pretty extraordinary. I don't know, when you sit back and you get to hear the symphony.
So Steph, what is it about hearing a chorus of your own voices that allows you to get a window into your own soul? What is that? Like how?
I think it's almost a way, I'm going to use the word calibration. Christian uses this word quite a bit. And I feel like it's really a way to calibrate and connect to the sound that in reality, we don't actually hear 24/7. What I hear coming out of my mouth right now is different than what you hear. Yeah. I'm hearing my voice from an internal source. My eardrums are here, right? But Christian's hearing something completely different. So when we can record it, lay it down, layer it, and then step away and be, you know, engulfed by our own sound, I've seen some pretty cool things happen.
It's almost like a gestalt therapy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
totally a form of therapy.
Huh.
And that's the thing. Like, you know, if I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but sound and frequency and vibration are forms of healing medicine. Right. And that's why that's why entertainment, right? Like when we turn to a sad movie to have that therapeutic cry, or, you know, we watch something to make us laugh. Does it not heal us in that moment? It does.
And you know,
We have some questions here for Christian.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Go
ahead, Chris.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
So just getting back to the looper thing, guys, like I have a $1,500 looper called a Head Rush, and it's meant for instruments and voice and everything. And you can play on top of it and make tracks. Stephanie has one that's just dedicated to voice, which is fantastic. But check it out. This one's called Quanta Loop. You can get it right on Facebook. They have a whole bunch of looper apps. You plug into your iPad. It works exactly the same as the other one. It's $20 as opposed to $1,500 or $1,000. Okay. Does the same thing. Get your feet wet.
Now, I have the next question is an interesting one because I'm sure you get this a lot. They've asked you to answer this question in the voice from the show.
Which one?
So, so the voice that I got the request
Chris
for
McLean?
Was it Chris McLean, guys? Tell me, talk to them. And the question is, I'll tell you, is how do you feel about Chris McLean? So this question in the voice of Chris McLean, how do you feel about Sheridan as a place for aspiring, you know, cartoonists and animators to go?
In the voice of Chris McLean?
Yes, please.
See, now here's the thing though. Okay, just so you know, when I do a voice in the booth, it's very different than what you're hearing.
Right.
Okay?
Because the
Chris
mastering.
McLean, I have to we always stand, but I have to yell. Because when I first did Chris McLean and we first started recording, I didn't even see a drawing or an illustration. I was there because I was already doing 16 and Stoked and all these other cartoons there.
Right.
I got the part and we started recording because it's a huge cast for a cartoon to have 25 or 27 characters. It's just like, what? And so none of it was done. And so I'm doing it. And at the first couple of episodes, their laundry list, where it was like, because when I auditioned, they said, hey, we're looking for like Jeff. Well, first of all, when I auditioned for Chris, I didn't audition for it. I went in for Harold, Jeff, a bunch of other ones, and I bombed. I miserably bombed because Tom McGillis, the creator, was like, I'm just hearing Jude. Like, that's all I hear. Like, I don't know. And I'm like, this sucks. And he goes, hold on. And he goes, here, read this. And he goes, take some time, or if you want, or you just want to do it now. And I said, let's just do it now. Cause it was just a paragraph, like it was 4 sentences. And he goes, okay, here's the deal. He's like Ashton Kutcher, because at that time Punk'd was on. It's like Ashton Kutcher and Jeff Probst from Survivor. And that's my Tom McGillis imitation. He's the best man of life. And then he goes, so just do something there. So I just thought of Ashton Kutcher and I went like this. And then because of the listing of stuff, exactly like Jeff Probst, kind of stoic. So I just did a laundry list. But when I was first doing it, they said, it's coming out flat. And I was like, well, it's a laundry list. Okay, campers, here's the deal. The first people to get across the island, blah, 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 then da-da-da. And if you don't win, you're going to go down to the dock of shame, never to return, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, it's coming out flat. It's coming out flat. And I was just like, what do you mean? I've been here for 2 hours. And then they're like, no. It's flat. It doesn't make sense. And I got really upset. And I just go, I feel like I'm doing remote control puppetry from around the corner in the dark using ESP. I don't know what you want. And they go, what did you just say? I go, I don't know what you want. And they were like, that's it. But can you smile? And I was like, okay. And then this came up. I'm Chris McLean and I'm yelling, but they're turning down the gain. So it sounds like I'm Chris McLean. But so when I do the voice, in order to do it, I have to yell. So who is the one that asked this? Who is the one that asked?
The person who gave us the gift of this question.
Yeah.
First
'Cause I'm
one,
gonna-
Owen. Yeah, Owen Bennett asked the question, but who asked it for the in the voice? Oh, Amanda Lawrence asked. Amanda
Okay.
Lawrence.
Okay, here you go, Amanda. This one's for you. The following shout out goes out to Amanda Lawrence and is being performed by an animated host. Do not try any of what you see here. Seriously, you could get really messed up. McLean out. Okay, now to answer your question about Sheridan. I teach at Sheridan because I help with the actors. My friend Barnabas Warnoff, who is the head of animation there, he brought me in a few times to work with these people that were doing their final year project. So the third year project, they have something called Showcase Night, where what they do is they present their work that they've been working on for 3 years. And some of them are just background animators. Some of them are this, some of them are that, some of them are 3D, some of them are CGI, some of them and they put on a showcase because who's coming? Oh, I don't know. Pixar, DreamWorks, a Nickelodeon, all the production houses, and they pluck these people because the people teaching them are from Pixar, Nickelodeon, and they have teachers there. So they do this thing. So I take all my voice acting students and we donate our voices to these people and they're doing their projects. And then next thing you know, because these students then take their piece and they enter it in film festivals, right out of theaters, right out of animation school. Sheridan is the best. It's the best. I have friends like Pixar has teachers in there. Disney has teachers in there teaching these kids because they're grooming them and they're farming them and they're plucking them right out. So I would go to Sheridan and I work with them and they're just down the road from us here. And I used to live around the corner and I would often hang out with the animation students and showing them how to work with voice actors and how to become a good voice director. Because if you understand voice and you understand the direction, it makes you a better animator. They're all one.
Would you say that Seneca would be like second kind of
Yes,
animation in
because
Canada?
Seneca has now stepped up their game because Barnabas Warnoff now teaches at Seneca and Seneca just went boom because they knew that animation and voice world was going to blow up. So about 4 or 5 years ago, they started their program and it's just going ba, 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 ba. I have many friends that teach voice there and I have many friends that are animators there as well. So Sheridan and Seneca are like, because guess what? Pixar, DreamWorks, Disney, blah, 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 they all have teachers in there for that reason. The faculty hired them and they're there to bring cachet. And also right away, these kids are staring at employment. That's how it works.
So we have we have a few rapid fire ones here. One was about technology. It was, I think it was the app Ferriti, Ferriti, Ferriti. You ever heard of that before, guys?
What's it called?
No.
Ferriti. Ferrite, Ferrite.
And what is this? An app?
Yes, on the iPad.
I don't know that.
Okay, what's it called?
Ferrite. So Ferrite.
Ferrite
like
Recording
iron.
Studio. Hello. Ferret Recording Studio. Pre-podcasting and journalism. Hey, see, I've got like 13 and 17-year-olds coming in here and I go, how'd you do that? And they're like, oh, I just use this. And I was like, thank you. And then I take it. So what is this?
Share.
Streamlined one-tap recording. Okay, so it's a voice memo. Okay, I see. There's not a lot of bells and whistles, but look at that. You can edit.
Split the wave file.
Clean multi-track editing. What?
That's kind of cool.
Apply effects for professional sound. Look at that.
Oh,
You've got the compression. You've got it all.
This looks pretty good,
Share.
actually.
You know what? Thank you, Fairite, or whoever suggested that, because I'm
Yeah.
downloading it right now.
Yeah, Caesar. I think it was Caesar with that one. That's from the Twitter.
Alright.
I have another question for you guys. You know this is going to come up. It's really unfathomable because it's allowed you freedom, but they asked, how much money did you guys make voicing these cartoons?
Okay. Well, good question. The cartoons run very differently than commercial. And there's a difference between radio, television, web, short lives and stuff. But here's how it works. With animation, the format used to be 22-minute long episodes for 52 episodes, and that was a season. Then they shrunk it and they make 13-minute episodes, 11-minute episodes and 13 episodes, part A and B. So they shrunk it. It used to be that you would get paid scale, which actress scale, which is our actors union, you get paid close to $700. I think it's $685 for the day, for the session, for a 4-hour call. After the 5th hour is a break. And then on the 6th hour, then you get overtime and then double overtime and triple overtime each hour. But you get a 4-hour call, you get $685, and then your agent gets 15% of that. But you see, you also get 110% buyout. So they give you a buyout. That was back then. You'd get $600 or $700 plus a 110% buyout. I don't know the math on me right now, but that used to be that. I think it was like, it worked out to be, you got $1,200 or $1,400, right? So you double that. And so $1,400 bucks. Now, because that was back in the day when we had cartoons that would go into a 5th season. When you're in 5th season, then you're in syndication, then you get royalties and residuals, and then you're talking multiple markets. But because that isn't the case anymore, because of things like Netflix and the way the world is, and they shorten it down.
There's not as much appointment.
And there's not a much appointment. They don't expect a cartoon to go more than 2 seasons, because really 2 seasons is actually 4 seasons. Right? They do 11-minute episodes. SpongeBob was the first cartoon to actually start doing this. They went down to 2 11s, which made a 22-minute block, and they would share it. Or something like Aqua Teen Hunger Force and Robot Chicken would share a half an hour, 11 and 11, right? They would do that. But now what they do, because of that, they give you a 210% buyout. So if you do a cartoon one day and you are, for one day, you walk with $1,700. Your agent gets 15% commission of that. So kiss that goodbye, right? And then, or no, that's what I walk with was 1,700.
Yeah,
so it's
so
actually,
it's
more than
yeah.
that. But whatever you get, your agent gets 15%, plus the actors union gets some stuff too, but they put it back into your RRSP, which makes you more money for your medical and dental. But if you want to know how this money works, right? So let's say I did that. I got out of 26 episodes or 13 episodes, I got, let's see. Let's say I got 8 episodes. So 8 times 1,700 is what I walked with. But listen to this. If you guys want to know something about how it works in this world. So here's the deal. Kids, you can't record kids until after 4:30, after school ends. That's when you can record children. But unless you're on a film set where they have tutors, where they go to school and it's all regulation rules. But if you're on a cartoon on a kid's cartoon, what they do is they will either record them on a Saturday or a Sunday throughout the week, or they wait till summer until they're out. Summer is a gold rush of voice work. So if you're going to get your demos ready, get it ready for pilot season this year. which is in March, February, March. Get it ready for before then, and then get ready to get booked on something, a pilot, to then record in the summer, right? That's how it goes. But listen to this. You guys know Magic School Bus? I work with all those kids on Magic School Bus because when they get older and phased out, they have to see if they're going to pitch them in or what they're going to do with them, and they go. And the agents don't like it, the parents don't like it, but the kids don't care. And I'm going to show you why. So these kids, they get per episode, they get the $1,700. That's the union rate. That's what it is. They get $1,700 times 20 or 52 episodes. There's 52 episodes of Magic School Bus. And they can record any day of the week they want because they're getting a massive buyout, because you know who does Magic School Bus? Scholastic. Scholastic is education. So these kids are getting scholarships right off the top. If you're on a Scholastic show like Big Clifford the Big Red Dog, Magic School Bus, and the list goes on, you get a scholarship for your post-education right away from Scholastic, which is a lot of money. You also get your daily rate of $1,700 a day. So 1,700 times 52. If you have a calculator, do that, because now it's going to get interesting. So let's say there's six kids on this cast, right? Each one of these episodes, and you see this in early childhood education where they have a diverse group of children or bugs or something, and they're all fixing problems. One of them has the big problem on that episode. So they call it being featured. When your character is featured in a script, out of 52 episodes, so 6 divided by 52, there's quite a bit. For every episode that you're featured, they get a bonus $14,000. So these kids are walking with $250,000, and they're 11, 12, and 13. And they're on this show for 3 or 4 years. That's until their voice changes and they're out. So for 3 or 4 years, they make $1 million in 4 years, just off one show. And all these kids, because there's a window of opportunity before their voice changes, they're on every other show as well. They're on a Disney show, they're on a this and then that and then that. So these kids are walking with $500,000 easily.
So I need to ask you a question. The follow-up question from Paul and Henry is this then. Is there a place for Caribbean voices in the voice acting industry, or do we have to learn other accents? Thank you, Paul and Henry.
Right now.
Yes.
Right now, they want that sound.
Yes.
They want that sound right now. Huge. Because of what is going on in the world. So here's the deal. With film and TV, the race du jour in the front goes like this. It's either Black, East Indian, or Asian. When, let's say, up here in Canada, we had a show called Kim's Convenience, okay? And it was very popular. Or when Crazy Rich Asians was out, Asians were at the front. Asian culture, the voices, the sound, and then it went East Indian and then Black. East Indian, Asian, they keep flipping, and Black. But now with what's going on in the States, Black Lives Matter, it is Black first, then East Indian, then Asian. And it's all female-centric first, all of it. All of it is woman. The actual voice of God, we call it, or the voice that they use for, your narrators, your host, your everything, the people that say, have you ever wanted to blah, blah, blah? They want female 45 to 65. We call that the voice of God. And right now they want it Black. 45 to 65 is the narrator voice. Okay. But everything's female centric. Even the cartoons that I've been going out for, it's always diverse. The Caucasians are the last, but you see, if you have any red in you, like I used to be a ginger. I don't now. I'm 48. So I identify as strawberry frost. I fit in the top skew because I have red, because we're a novelty in the white spectrum. So it's the Caribbean sound is actually, yes, We are God's little clowns. So
You're God's little
I can say
clowns.
this. I can say this.
You're in a
the
safe space, believe me.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Blessings.
The only person to do so, actually, my friend Chris McPherson is here, and he did a Caribbean sound for this Budweiser spot, and we put it on his
so
demo,
good.
and I was like, "This is amazing! I've never heard a Budweiser." But here's the thing: you're the only one that can do that voice, because I can't even do this voice right now because I do not identify as a gay man. It has to be a gay man, and all the characters that are coming out, it has to be of that race, of that culture, because the lines that you're going to say, you can actually say, actually, we don't say that. We say it like this. And they're all like, go on. And then they're like, well, what would you say? And they go, we go blah, 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 blah. And they're like, excellent, writing credit. And they're like, see everybody? Cool, right? It's cool what we did here, because you're representing your culture and you're representing your heritage. And if it's being in early childhood education, it has to be by you. And you say, we don't do it that way. And it's up to you whether if you know, from my Black friends here that put on the Jamaican Caribbean, you know, accent, when they put it on for these things, it's up to them whether, you know, are they doing Apu here? Are they doing a caricature, or are they doing it authentic? It's up to them, but it's their choice. It's their choice now. It's the law, guys. So
As it
now,
should be.
do not whitewash your accent. Do not whitewash it right now. They want it authentic, but speak clearly. Remember, to the untrained ear, they're like, what did you say? Because in Canada, we have a lot of British, Irish, Scottish culture here, and we understand it, but you play it in America, they're like, huh? Because America is where you want it to get sold, right? So I mean, I've got some Caribbean friends. I got some friends from Jamaica, and I was like, I don't understand what you said, but I don't care because it's awesome. I got the gist and I'm in it.
Well, you don't speak patois, so. You know.
I don't.
So we just have 5 questions left before we wrap up and talk to the people who would actually maybe like to take the next step forward, because I think there's a small subset of the people here that would like to explore what this would be like. So first of all, thanks Paul and Henry for that question. The answer is that Caribbean voices are in demand. Just don't hide them.
Yes.
Do it your way. Do it your way and speak clearly. Because when you are clear, you are kind. And when you are kind, you are clear. And casting and people that are hiring or clients love that.
Right. Now from Jamelia Jones, both of you guys, when did you realize that you were good at voices and voice acting, and what made you decide to enter the industry? What's the origin story?
Origin story. Mine's more recent. I can tell mine if you want.
Go ahead. Tell
Sure.
yours.
So, well,
Thanks, Jamelia.
a big part of this was truthfully when Christian and I met, and we originally had talked about me teaching for the company. And then it turned out that we had all of the same, you know, views and ways of teaching, and we became business partners. So in doing that together, I've had the opportunity to train with Christian. So as a voice actor, I am trained by Christian, absolutely. And I am very lucky to work where I work because I have the opportunity to be surrounded by it. But I really saw a shift in the entertainment industry, and especially with what's going on in the world right now with the lockdowns and things like that. I'm not singing on an opera stage right now. I had a gig, you know, with a symphony here, and I lost it. It was supposed to be in May 2021. It's not happening. So I thought long and hard, and not really long and hard, about the need to be adaptable in this industry. And so I made the decision. I've always used my voice for my career, and I've always been very connected to specifically voice. And it seemed almost like a no-brainer that I ended up going into voice acting work. And from the time I was a child, I will say, I've always been known in my family. My family used to call me Lucy, like Lucille Ball, because I've always been someone that likes to play other characters, and I would put on voices and I would speak in accents and, you know, imitate my grandparents and such. So
Always imitate
my
the family.
grandparents are from Serbia, so I talk like this to talk like my grandfather. So, you know, I just started doing accents and playing around. And then I don't think I really realized for many years that I could make a career of it and I could have fun and play, you know, for a job. So that's how I entered this world and the film and TV world. Christian's story, it goes back a little farther, but, you know.
Okay.
Here we go.
Here we go. I didn't know I'd be doing voice work at all, because here's the deal. Back in the day, doing voice work was uncool. It wasn't a cool thing. It was like, you got a face for radio. We all wanted to be on the camera. We wanted people to know what is up, what is up here, right? So we didn't look at it that way. And I actually fell into it by accident because I wanted to be more in my daughter's life. I found out a little happy accident that I was going to be a dad. Surprise. I had just moved back from LA, Hollywood, where I was there for 3 years. I was on shore leave and I was told a little something and my life went record scratch skip. What? And I said, okay, well, and her mother, my daughter's mother was like, you know what? I don't want to be married to an actor. Like, I don't want to be with an actor because you're all over the place. Like, even when when my daughter was born, I was shooting. Like, it's transient. She didn't like that. And I said, okay, hold on. I'm going to phone my agent and find out what I can do that is a little more close to home, so I'm not traveling. So I phoned my agent and she goes, well, you can do theater, but I was like, no, that's an expensive hobby. I'm used to TV money. Like, I'm just like, no way. That's a retirement thing. I don't care.
You know the truth of that. So
yeah. So I was like, no. And she goes, well, you can do voice work, but here's the thing. Once you go behind the mic, you never get in front of the camera again. And I was like, yeah, I know. And they're a bunch of nerds and I don't want to do that. So then what happened was she started sending me out. She started sending me out for stuff. And I couldn't get arrested. There was nothing happening. Nothing happening. They were trying me. I didn't have a demo. They were just sending me out because I was the guy from TV. And I actually ended up getting plucked from the commercials that I did by Marilyn Ridley and Tom McGillis, who were working for Nelvana at the time. And they brought me in to replace somebody. And I thought that that's how cartoons were done, where they already did the animation and I was dubbing it in. I thought that's how it was done. And it wasn't that way because I sucked at it and everything. And then later on, I found out that that's how cartoons were done, where they animated around your voice. And that was a big thing. And I was like, whoa, this is a weird world. But then once I realized that I get to not dub it in like anime, I get to create it and they're going to animate around it. That changed everything. It changed my view on it. Because here's what happened. I couldn't get arrested. But then I auditioned for something. My first audition for a cartoon where I got to like do stuff, where I got to animate, come up with a character. And the breakdown, it was for a cartoon called Sidekick. I don't know if you guys saw it wherever you are, but it was a show up here on YTV called Sidekick. And I was auditioning for a character named Trevor Troublemeyer. And the breakdown said he's a bratty, obnoxious, grating, pesty kid. And I saw a picture of him. And it was funny because when I moved back from California just that little while ago, my friends were saying, you sound like a jerk. Because I had adopted that California sound. I was hanging out with these surfer guys who were like, they were saying things like this. Listen, bro, after the sesh, we're going to go down to Wahoo Taco and San Onofre. And I was like, I don't care. I just want to. So I came home talking like this and they're like, you sound like a jerk. And I was like, you do, dude. And then, so when they said it was obnoxious, when they said it was like an obnoxious thing, when I remember my friends going, you sound obnoxious when you talk like that. I was like, oh, okay, obnoxious guy. So I talk like this, got the part, bam. And I was like, yes, I understand this now. Then 3 months later, I auditioned for a part on a show coming out called 16. And they said the character's name is Jude. And he's a chilled out skater dude. And blah, 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 talks to inanimate objects and stuff. And I was like, skater dude, surfer dude. So I talk like this. Boom, got the part. Then 3 years later, I auditioned for Total Drama. And they said, Jeff Probst and blah, blah. So I talk like this. And I got the part. And I realized I cracked the code and it was just my voice with a laugh. And that's how I got in.
Louder than the other.
And one's louder. One's really loud. I have back problems from Christian.
Wow. Christian on the beat. Whoa. So, okay. We're just, we have another just 15 minutes or so before we wrap up, but we do have some questions I want to get to. This is from Nyan. He's our resident animator. He's going to film school at UE. So shout out to him. Awesome sauce. I am a rapper and I want to know about rapping. I also go by the name of Dylan Faya. Yeah, what is the future for rappers and even dancehall artists? And because there's a whole aspect of like getting your music into film, video game, TV, and cartoons. Can you talk about that, the musical side of if you have like a rapper and things like that? How does that work?
We can talk about Charlie. You too, and how he created.
Yeah, so it's not so much rapping as it is music production. You go to school, you got to go to music production. You have to go and learn how to do it yourself. You got to go get trained. You got to think about opening up your studio. If you're going to be a rapper, you got to open up your own studio. You got to find your buttons. You got to find an audio engineer. You have to find somebody that just specializes in beats. You got to find somebody that specializes in sounds. You got to make a crew, but you got to get that together. A chain is as good as its weakest link. If you want to be, what's up? Well, you gotta, that's all you. That's all you. And careful who you hit your wagons to, right? Careful. Show me original thought and I'll give you the $1 million in my pocket right here. Doesn't exist. So you got to learn how to play smart. You got to design your studio first before you think of what you're going to do. Okay. And how you're going to go out there, because getting your stuff out there is very easy. There's so many platforms now. Right? But getting your studio and creating a signature sound and creating that sense of style and work ethic, that's on you.
And like voice actors and singers, you need a demo too. You need something. You keep creating, always keep creating, keep writing, never stop. Don't throw out the stuff that you write, just file it away. Keep creating. And then as you do that, then what's really important, yes, go to school for it, but make sure you start to record and lay down your work so you have something that you can put forward to represent you.
And where's he going to school?
He's going to University of West Indies. Actually, he was going to see if you could do like a guest lecture, you guys at his film school. Yeah,
for sure.
And what is he studying?
So Nyan, are you there? Are you still there? He's going to University of West Indies for film school, and I think some of the other students are actually on this call as well. Film
school is the way to go, guys. Film school is the way to go. The technology's changed. Everything's changed. Learn the technology. Learn the buzzwords. Learn the things. Learn the chain of command. Right? Learn where it is. Find out how many of those you can do. That's exactly the way to go.
So I have the last two here.
It's actually a media school overall.
Oh, great. Media school. Yeah, perfect. Amazing. It's all there.
Production then.
Amazing.
Go there. Pick your mentor's brains. They'll be more than willing to chat with you about it, because this is our life. When people want to, I could talk to you guys all weekend because I love this stuff. I get paid to look, sound, and think like me. Imagine that. Imagine that. I've created this world for the last 27 years of my life. as a professional working actor. I get paid to look, sound, and think like me. Before it was just you either look and sound like you. Now you have to look, sound, and think. It's a triangle.
Mm. Amanda Lawrence, this is an interesting one, and we talked about this before. Do famous people sometimes steal your jobs because they're celebrities?
All the time.
Shut up.
All the time. Dude,
Nut job.
nut job.
Talk about the nut job.
Okay.
Nut job. What do you mean?
The movie, The Nut Job.
The movie Nut Job. Whoa.
Yeah, the cartoon.
You're joking.
No, here's what happened.
No way.
Myself and Joe Pingway were playing. I played the lead. The lead was this female rodent of some sort. And we were playing her two brothers, and we were Italian guys like this. And I talk like this. Hey, what the heck is going on here? Hey, it was like this New York Bronx sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
And Joe was a bigger guy, and he was like, hey, and so we were two sort of bumbling brothers. And the thing was, I recorded it, and I was doing all these Comic-Cons and conventions and stuff like that. And they gave me materials to promote. And I was like, and this is back in 2013. And then all of a sudden I was like, the movie comes out on Friday. Nobody's told me anything, like nothing.
Oh no.
And all of a sudden I'm getting, nobody production. They got the big thing. They're having a big to do. I phoned my agent and I'm like, hey, I haven't heard anything. It's coming out on Friday. And they used to give me materials. And they were like, my agent called and was like, what's the deal? I haven't heard anything and no one's talking to him. What about the premiere? He's seeing everyone else going, where's his thing? And they were like, oh, right away, we got 3 or 4 identical emails that were format and very legal saying, I'm sorry, but due to the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, you've been replaced. They didn't tell me. And here I am promoting for 1 whole year doing Comic-Cons on YouTube. Go check it out, The Nut Job. My name is still on there at IMDb, but here's what happened. The distributor, E1, and this American distributor said, hey, replace one of them because there's this really great comedian. We want to make it a little more ethnic for our audience because we're the distributor and we know what sells. And they're like, well, who do you want to replace? That guy there, because we're going to put in Enrique Iglesias. Fluffy, the comedian. I got replaced by him and they didn't tell me. And I was just like heartbroken. I was just like, what happened? And I was like, so that's how it works. They don't care. So I got replaced because this guy was a more famous comedian and it was a draw to the Hispanic community. It was representing. See, they fill everything by demographics and race, right? That's the way it is. So to answer your question, yes.
So this is one of the last ones. Thank you so much, Amanda Lawrence. We could talk about IP protection for a long time. And there's a lot of interesting solutions coming out for that.
Yes.
DistroKid, you put a music out on, and you have it on DistroKid and it'll make sure every time YouTube plays it, you get paid through Content ID. Beth Lawrence, this is our last question that I have here. Do you know Ashley Ball?
Ashley Ball.
Who's Ashley Ball?
I don't know.
I do not.
Hold on. Is that an actress?
Beth Lawrence? Yes.
An actress. Let's find out.
Beth, where are you?
Oh, hi, Ashley. Ashley Ball, Canadian voice actress. Oh, yes.
Huh.
I know her.
Oh,
My Little Pony.
Yep.
Yes, I do know her. I ran into her at a convention in Texas. Yes, I do know her.
Huh.
I work with
Fantastic.
people all the time and I don't even know they're on the show because they always bring us in alone. If you get 2 or more voice actors in a booth, nothing's getting done.
Nope.
Yeah.
So,
I-
and scheduling is a nightmare. It's like herding squirrels. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, never.
Right. So I work with people all the time and I don't know that they're even on the same show. But yes, I do know Ashley Ball.
She plays Rainbow Dash. Okay, yes.
Rainbow Dash Applejack. Okay, so let me ask you this. If anyone on this call wanted to take the next step with you, what would that next step look like starting November 7th?
Like if they're taking the course.
Yeah, the
that you took?
phase 1. Yeah.
Okay, well, this is what's going to happen. We're going to pull back the curtain to the industry, and we're going to give you some intel. We're going to give you the cheat codes. We're going to prep you so that we can help you create that sense of style and work ethic that's your own design. Now, remember, I'm casting. I work in casting. I help shape demos for people to get in because I can flow your demo to casting because they don't have time to look all over. Even if you're looking for representation, even if you wanted a Canadian, an American, or a UK agent, it's all done electronically or digitally. But the thing is, that's what I do is I get you ready to go, like, to give it to casting who are going, thank you. It's like, if I could collect, like 20 some odd accents from wherever you are and diverse and everything and the different demographics, and I package them and deliver them some sizzle reels en masse, they're going to be like, are you kidding me? Thank you. Thank you. And I get a kickback, right? Because that's like money to them. And so what we do is we train you on an industry standard of how to prepare your home record. Then to understand the format, and not only for acting, but the industry, like how to self-tape, because you need that demo tape that demo tape will get you a direct booking, or that demo will get you a self-tape. That self-tape will get you a direct booking or an in-person or virtual audition. But that demo and creating that demo, which is all your design, you need to understand the format, and you need to understand the training of how to remain consistent. Because if your demo's here, your self-tapes can't be even par. They can't be underneath. They have to be slightly above. And that's what we're going to teach you. So you don't have to ring the bell on everything. No, because they want to get you there, but they want your demo or your self-tape to come just above. And then that way, when you're auditioning for them, then they can direct you and see if you can ring the bell, right? But learning how to be consistent, learning the language, learning how to be on demand, learning how to go to neutral, how to prepare. Help breathing.
Yes.
Breathing.
Oh, we cover breathing.
If you ain't breathing, you ain't living. And all those characters never get born.
It's true.
And this hurts.
How young have you worked in terms of getting people work?
Our demographic is 7 to 70.
77 to 70.
Like 80, really.
More like 80 now, because we have people because they just sound like this. And that's all. That's all. And now they're the wise old owl on a cartoon, and they're making $300,000 a year, and they still don't know why the people want to listen to them. This is the best part about old people. Like, why do you, can I ask you something? Why do you like my voice? And I was like, are you kidding me? Do you hear you right now?
It's like,
they don't even know.
Yeah.
True.
Incredible.
What you learn from us is community and who you are in that community, how to find your identity, how to market yourself. Because listen, in this day and age, sometimes it comes down to who has the most subscribers, who has the most followers, right? What to do with social media, how to market. If you're going to sound like one, you got to look like one, and you got to be savvy. Remember, show business.
Right. Absolutely. Now, what I'm going to do.
Michael.
Yes.
Hello, Michael.
Yeah, we're just going to wrap up here,
I
right?
have to jump in. Yeah,
Go
not
ahead.
only that, I have to jump in before, because my Wi-Fi keep chipping in and out. I just need before Christian leaves and you leave. One of the reasons for having both of you here is really to see how you can get our people in the show business, right? How can you prepare us? Is there any hope for us? I mean, Jamaicans or mentees, can we have some voice of some persons being another Christian, Is it possible?
Medda,
Tell me, what can you do? What can you do to
go
get
ahead.
us
Go
there?
ahead, Christian. Yeah.
So several years ago, about 3 years ago, I was sent to the Yukon to by CBC and the Canada Council to go and teach First Nations people, the indigenous people up in the Yukon, like up near Alaska, like far away, different planet. I went to teach the original storytellers how to tell their stories on a world stage. And I get there and I'm in Yellowknife and I'm in Dawson City and it's like nothing I've ever seen. I actually wept in my hotel parking lot when I got out. I stared at the mountains and I was just like, I have never experienced anything with all the courts there. I was just like, what's going on? And I was like, I was very humbled. And then to go to the reserves where they sent me and to see how they live, I was even more humbled. And there I was bringing all my stuff and my equipment. And I was brought in to show these people how to tell their stories. And you want to talk about isolated? They're not getting out of there. There are mountains and there are things that will eat you. You will never get out of there. So they are gone. They are isolated. And when I was teaching them, they thought, well, this is great. And first of all, we can't even believe that you from our TV is here. And I was like, yeah, no bigs. And then they said, well, this is great. Thank you for showing us this. But when you leave, what happens to us? This is what always happens. People show up, try to teach us stuff, and then it disappears and no one knows what to do. And I said, oh, hold on one second. Now, if I'm in a recording booth and you're in the control room, like when I'm doing a cartoon, when I'm doing anything voice, I'm in a recording booth. There's glass and there's the control room with the directors, the producers, the clients, the audio engineer, and they can see me and I can see them and we're communicating and we're recording stuff. They take my things and it goes to the production and they do it. But we're just separated by a piece of glass. And then I said to them, well, listen, if I have my equipment here at my studio in Hamilton or Toronto, and you're over here in the Yukon, which is a different planet, it is, I never thought I'd be here. And you have the same equipment and I can see you and you can see me and we have the same equipment. Look at that. We're still separated by a piece of glass. That's it. So to answer your question, absolutely it's possible. But the thing is, unless you have the technology and know how to use it, you're out of the loop. But once you get the technology, listen, when this whole thing happened, this pandemic happened, all the gatekeepers in the studios shut down because they couldn't do it. They said, everyone's got to do it at home. So we're giving you Source Connect. Source Connect is this thing that attaches studios so they can just tap in and go like this. And they got you and the audio engineers right there. Once they gave us that, it was game over. So now you have access to the technology, you have access to the knowledge, which is plugged into casting, which is plugged into representation, which is plugged directly into the industry. But here's the thing, for representation, principal agents can't solicit, but they hire guys like me that train to go make them on industry, train them, give me their demo and I'll represent them. Because if you're just voices from wherever you are, that's pillow money to them. They just facilitate the contract and send you out. And you're already, yeah, exactly. I see you. I see you.
Hey.
Yeah. So you see, yes, there is hope. Now there is hope because we are all connected by the technology and they are looking for you, but they don't have time. So they use people like me to find you, train you, so you're not going rogue and you're out of the loop. You get trained, learn the format, and it's a direct link to casting, it's a direct link to representation, and it's a direct link to the industry.
And I just want to share something. I don't even know if I've shared this with you, Christian, but some of you might know the name Devin Mack. He's a Black voice actor, Canadian, and he actually posted on his Facebook the other day, and he said, if there are any young Black actors out there who have demo tapes, shoot them my way, and I'm going to pass them on to casting and the right people. This is our community. So listen, this is what we do.
Christian Devin Mack is a personal friend of mine. I just talked to him the other day because I promoted. If you guys go to the Infinity Forge Facebook page, if you go to the Infinity Forge Facebook page and you look at that posting, which is right there, send me your name. And I'm gonna hook you up with Devin and just go, hey, because he's willing to mentor. He just wants to know you're there.
Yep.
Okay, because that's why I posted it on my thing and I sent it out, and everyone's posting it on all these voice actor sites and everything. And so go to that, and if you're interested and and Devin Mack will call you. He will reach out to you, and he does all the voice. This is the best. He plays chef on Total Drama Rama now because they replaced him with Clay. But this guy, Devin Mack, does all the voices. Bakugan, blah, blah, blah. He does all the squeaky white boy voices now. I can't do any other voices, but he can do both. That's what he's trying to. He's trying to raise the level of knowledge and get to you guys. Thank you for mentioning that.
You're welcome.
If you go to the Infinity
I thought
Forge
of it right
Facebook
away.
page, if you guys give me your name or give it to Mike, and then I'll get it to Christian, and Christian will reach out to you because he's looking for you guys right now because he's been doing some project, and he's probably one of the top Black actors in the voice world in North America right now. He's number one. And they're leaning to him to go out and find. So he put out something. He called me. I sent it out to my channels and our people. But here I'm sitting in front of like
75 people.
75 people. I'm
Isn't
like,
that
hey
crazy?
guys,
What
you
the
want to
hell?
talk to somebody who's looking for you right now?
Come on.
Let's go.
Come on. I'll send you a screenshot of all 75. Now, before we just have 5 minutes left. So a lot of people are asking how they can take the next step. Now, a lot of you guys don't know this, but Medha Soraya, who's on the call, is actually the reason this whole thing is happening, as well as Christian and Steph. So you're going to see why they're raising the roof for Medha very soon. Medha, if you can not only tell them about what they can do next with Christian, but I know there are many people on this call who also have a healthcare background and in nursing and in personal support working and physiotherapy. And there is a huge need for Caribbean healthcare professionals in Canada as well. So if you can talk about how they can sign up for the next step with Christian and Steph, and also about the healthcare side as well. And then we'll wrap up. Go ahead, Medha.
Just
Thanks,
a second.
Michael.
In relation to the before you go on, Mentor, healthcare. So we send all information to your email, Michael. Right?
You're muted, Michael.
No, you're right. Medha will explain the next steps in terms of signing up not only for the Infinity Forge, but for the healthcare at the same time.
Okay, good.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Michael. Stephanie, Christian, that was amazing. That was great information. Thank you so much for sharing. Jillian, I know your internet has been unstable, so if we lose you, before we lose you, thank you so much for organizing this.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for having
you.
me.
None of this happens without Jillian, believe me. So if there's 75 people who want to, I guess, lick 2 water gun shots in the air for Jillian, do it now, because without Jillian, none of this happens. Go on, Medha.
So on the chat, I have put a link for a jot form. Unfortunately, this evening, we had some issues with our website and we are working through them. So I have put in the information for a jot form. If you are interested in connecting with us, fill that out and we will get back to you over the weekend, and we'll give you a link on where to go to sign up and as well as pay.
And you'll also, through that process, be submitting a self-tape to Christian and Steph, but we'll work out that as you go through the process.
So if you're interested, please fill out this form, get in touch with us. Michael, do you want to put your email or?
Yes, absolutely. I'll just put mine right here. I'll just use my private one because you guys have known that one before, and I have received your emails before. But if you want to email me again so that it jumps to the top, please do. We'll make sure we get you guys in. We are committed to this with you guys with AYF. Go on.
So the other way is connecting through to Michael. and he can also redirect you to our
Mhm.
forums.
Mhm.
With regards to PSWs and nurses, as Michael said, we in Canada are having a shortage of skilled workers, and we are working closely with Janet. I know Janet's on the call as well,
Mhm.
with Janet and her college to see what we can do and how we can get the transition smoothly and how we can get more people into Canada and working here as soon as possible.
Excellent, excellent. So before we go, Jillian, any other final questions? Because I know you have your finger on the heartbeat of everyone here, right?
My internet has been unstable, so I'm not sure if you
I can
did
hear you.
go. Yeah, I'm not sure if you went through the process as to the next. Well, the form will be completed, right?
Yes.
Because I know we know one or two persons are interested in
Hmm.
having that session with Christian,
Hmm.
right? So that would be our next step.
Fantastic.
We that I am looking forward to because we have a lot of talented youth, and it's just to be recognized. I
Mm.
mean, if you no sense you have opportunity and not being promoted. I mean, talents are
Mm.
not being promoted.
Mm.
So I am really anticipating this session with Christian, and I'm really imploring everybody online. These sessions are thousands of Canadian dollars. And we have Michael and Christian and the team coming in to really help us to be recognized, our talents. I'm imploring everybody, do not miss these opportunities. Jump on board and make the best of them. All right? So, over to
Any
you.
any last words, Christian, Steph? Thank you so much. I mean, you've given us a PhD in acting in these 90 minutes, honestly. But anything you'd like to say to the people that are thinking about taking the next step, thinking about emailing me, not really sure? You've been there, right?
Yeah. I just like to say, now's the time.
Mm.
There was no opportunity before. You were just be another pebble on the beach.
Mm.
That isn't the way. The playing field has been leveled. And for the first time, they're demanding, and it's law. They want to hear you, but it doesn't matter when you show up. But as long as you show up and you understand the technology and the format and then skin it with your talent, you got it made. There's only one you. And they're always looking for new faces and voices. But when you show up and you come correct and you do it your way and you're consistent, then there you go. And always follow the totem pole of success in this industry. Show up, say your words, take direction, don't be a dick, and leave. And there's your head up at the top, okay? That's it. It's that simple. And one more thing, I got you.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Amazing. If you could only know what it's like to be in the same room as these guys, if you could only know.
It's usually not, that's for sure.
No, I mean, you guys are working with my wife, Allie. She's been teaching around the world for 20 years. And she said working with you guys was a life-changing experience. Forget about the voice acting. Forget about if she never gets another part in her life, you guys would have changed her life through the time you spent.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because, guys, what this is a chance for you to reinvent yourself. You get to reinvent yourself and format and calibrate and become the person you are. Because in this process, we go back to that place where you stop sounding like yourself. And then we come to present and then we decide where you want to go. And your compass is going to stop spinning. You go, I want to go here. And it can change left or right. It can do whatever because it's your choice. I'm going to give you options that weren't there before, or maybe they were and you just didn't know it. That's about it.
And I just want to say one thing to everyone. Your voices need to be heard. They need to be heard. And we want to help you do that.
Yep.
Amazing. AYF, I'd like you to close it out. Shanika, can you take over? Close us out.
Good evening again, everybody. I just want to say thank you so much. This has been a very enlightening session. I can tell from the chat, everybody has been very engaged and it has been very interesting. And like Jillian said, we need to take every opportunity that we're having here with these AYF sessions. They are very enlightening. We have the pleasure of having these people on with us, so we just have to put everything out there and just make every use of it. And I just want to thank everybody for coming on. Thank you so much.
Just
Michael.
a second, Tanika, before you
Yes.
close. I just wanted, we have a lot of new persons on the line also.
Right.
If you want to become a member of the foundation, can somebody just drop a copy of the application form in the chat or something? You can just speak on that, because I know we can have quite a number of persons who want to become members of the foundation.
Right. So for the AYF Foundation, you can look us up on Facebook, on Twitter at AYF.JA. Also, you can shoot us an email for the copy of tonight's session. You can shoot us an email at adopteryouthja@gmail.com. We can send that in the chat for you. You can shoot us an email. So for the copy of tonight's recording, we can send that to you. Yes, thank you so much, Vinton, for sending that in the chat. So if you look in the chat, you'll see it's our website also, www.adopteryouth.com. So for those of you who are interested in being a part of the family, you can always just, like I said, look us up, adopteryouthja@gmail.com. And we will send a copy of tonight's recording to you, and you can just reach out to us. So whatever it is that you are interested in becoming a part of the Adopt a Youth Foundation, we're here and we will speak with you and see how best we can facilitate. Is that it, Jillian? That's fine?
Mhm.
Yes, that's awesome.
Okay.
You've been an awesome host.
Wonderful. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody. Like I said, it has been a wonderful session. The time has been well spent, and it was really, really a pleasure just having everybody on early, very engaged, asking questions. Thank you so much, Christian.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. It's my pleasure. And I really hope to see all of you. I really hope to see, because come on in, guys. Water's fine. Water's fine.
And thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael, for all your work.
Thank you, Meta. Thank you very
Meta,
much.
Yes.
Thank you, Jillian. Thank you, everyone with
Thank you.
AYF.
Thank
And
you,
Jillian.
Thank you,
everyone.
Janet.
Thank you,
None of this
everyone.
happens
Wow.
without Janet. Yeah.
Thank you, Janet.
Yes.
Yes.
Amazing.
Awesome.
All right, guys.
Thank you, everyone. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your evenings. Just have a wonderful, wonderful time. Stay safe, everybody.
Pauline Henry, I see you. And let me tell you something. You better show up, because I like you. I've been watching you all day. I've been watching you. That's what I was at the end. I was like,
smile.
I see you. I see you. You're right there. Now we're connected. I hope to see you.
You too, John.
I am laughing so hard right now. I'm so loud. Oh my goodness.
And then
Thank
Dejan,
you.
your neighbor, Dejan Williams. I see you.
Dujon. Let me tell you something. Dujon was on The Amazing Race.
What?
Yes.
Long story. I have a lot of stories. There's many stories.
Yo, Dujon.
There's a lot of theories. There's a lot of conspiracy theories, but we'll get into those, man. I've been everywhere, around the world.
Yeah. Dujon,
We are all
amazing
connected.
dancer.
We are all connected. I love it.
Amazing, guys. I love,
right.
guys. We could go on for years, but I'm gonna stop pressing. I'm gonna press stop on this recording. This is. Do you want to stop cloud recording?